And we're going.
And we're off and rolling here on episode 6 of the AFC West War Room. I am your co-host, Cory, with my brother, Austin, here. We have a very special guest with us today on episode 6. We're looking forward to talking to her. So sit back for the next hour. You are now in the War Room.
Rolling out. Looking for the rookie record. Ball tip and oh my gosh! The double deflection. Set up the screen. Instead, he'll float it over the middle. Jump ball and it's Bowers down the sideline. The rookie from Georgia with the game's first score. Mahomes. Touchdown. Mahomes.
Ooh.
War Room, episode 6. Again, thank you, Cody, for our intro video. Gets us going every single time. Let's open up with the roll call. Maddie, do you want to get us going?
Yeah. Hey, guys, I'm Matt with Orange Crush News 365, representing the Broncos.
I'm Tim from Answer the Call podcast, representing the Los Angeles Chargers.
And I'm Cody with Drew Code Sports Talk, representing the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yep, and I am co-host Austin Shovicks, and I am representing the Chiefs.
And our very special guest here with us tonight, Deb. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the listeners and the watchers.
Sure. Hi, guys. First of all, thank you for having me here. Deb Whitcas, two-time Emmy-winning TV producer, also a sports reporter. I work with SI.com, Sports Illustrated High School on SI, as well as I'm the host and creator of the Blonde Blitz. It's one of the only female-led NFL football shows that talk all 32 teams. So,
Wow.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And honestly, we're really honored to have you join us here tonight. I know we were pitching the ideas and bouncing ideas off of each other, and I was like, well, we've had terrible timing on my part trying to get you multiple times with the Super Bowl week with that and then the draft.
It's
so
hard. Everyone's so busy. There's so much Super Bowling going on and drafting and combined and everything.
Yeah, so we're really stoked that you were able to join us here tonight. Cody, I'm going to hand it over to you. Get us going with segment 1.
Awesome. Actually, Deb, I would love to dive into more of your memorable moments of Super Bowl week and all that stuff.
Sure.
But first off, the question that we're going to, and it's for everyone, but Deb, if you would do the honors of answering first, though. So the question is pretty lighthearted. We were just kind of talking beforehand, and all of us are sports fanatics. Of course, we probably consume it more than any human probably should because of what our hobbies is and what we love to do. But, for me, I love to doom scroll on TikTok, and sometimes my For You page looks a little different. I'll have sports here, sports there. And then every once in a while you get something that is kind of like an oddball, but it's a soother in a sense. And I'm curious, what have you found on your For You page that is something that you will sit and watch, and it kind of is like your way of either decompressing, you find comfort in, and it's something that people would not expect on your For You page?
Well, some people might expect it. If you really know me, I'm a huge pet rescue girl.
Okay.
So I love the pet videos.
Okay.
The funny pet videos, cats, dogs, horses, it doesn't matter. If you want to get me, send me something with pets. So,
okay.
Besides, I think they're literally it's like TV, sports, pets, in my life. So
Right on. Tim, what about you?
For me, it's just, I don't know, it's just kind of all over the place. I don't really, go deep diving into TikTok or Instagram very often. Most of the time it is sports related, fantasy football and college football mainly. But every now and again, I'll find just random videos. On TikTok, I found the guy that goes around and mows people's yard. It's ridiculous, high, tall grass, and he does it for free. And he just to see the look on their face. So every now and again, I'll get something like that. But for the most part, it's just a sports for you, for me. So
all right, pretty clean. Matt, what about you, bud?
So mine is also all over the place. You guys already know military background. So my TikTok is mostly full of military branches arguing with who has the worst living conditions. Obviously, the Air Force is not in there because they're the best. But Navy, Army, and Marine Corps will battle it out and see who can survive in the worst living conditions. Also, chiropractor videos come up there. It's kind of like satisfying when they get that good neck crack in. You're like, oh,
There you go.
I need that, with my age. So that's usually what's on mine.
That's pretty fun. Shovicks, guys. What about you, y'all?
Yeah, mine's not quite all over the place because I definitely know what I enjoy. But if it's not sports, it's definitely going to be either food, cooking something. And then I'm with Deb. I love the animal videos, like specifically dogs, but all of them, right? But I'll catch myself watching like a funny corgi video or something, and just, I don't know, that's brings a little bit of joy. So food and animals, if we have to do a little.
Did you see that one that the lady was freaking out about the dog got the bunny and she's like, "You're killing the Easter bunny." And the dog, the rabbit wasn't dead, but
Yes.
I think that's one of the funnier ones. Like I watched it a million times.
Yes, yeah.
And then to bounce off Matt, so there's Dr. Joseph Cipriano or something on YouTube who just does the Y strap, and it's like an accordion. So I catch myself watching that a lot. And then there's a couple groups on Facebook. There's like their shorts and their reels of them just pranking each other for fun. So it's just like best friends who go around messing with people, messing with their work or their food or stuff like that. So just a little, it's not sports. It's just away from sports. So I do catch myself watching those quite often.
Yeah. Right now I'm knee deep in the Diddy trial. I guess there's a couple of creators that are giving like daily updates of like what was happening in Cross or whatever. And I don't know why, but I sit and I watch it like it's a telenovela. I can't get over it. And then I was the same way when they had obviously the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trial when they did that. I don't know why, but it's fascinating to see proceedings and all that. And maybe it has something to do with storytelling, because there's also like a guy that reads comic books back to you, but in like his own way. And it's, it's a little bit more adult humor, but it's funny just to hear people tell their perspective of the same story. And I don't know why that's soothing, or some guy mowing his lawn for some reason, like landscaping and that kind of stuff. It's odd. I think it's a dad thing, but yeah, I'm very much into like landscaping or seeing someone keep their grass up. I don't do that, but it's funny. So,
actually, I'm spending my day off tomorrow mowing, so it's like
there you go. Go ahead, Deb. What were you saying?
Let's say one of my cameramen actually that I work with is on. It's in the trial. Like he's filming the trial, and I keep on texting him trying to get like updates.
Yeah. So. Well, what's funny is the latest one, and this is on TikTok, so it's not anything special, but there's another juror that's potentially in trouble or whatever. So they already kicked one off because some inconsistencies with how they live in the areas supposedly. And so it's just, the whole trial itself is very, very interesting. And I don't know why the whole court proceedings and all that. I love just like getting the innuendos about it, I suppose. So.
Okay.
All right, Cory, back to you, buddy.
That'll wrap up segment 1 of our just, non-sports related question of the week. Thank you, Cody, for doing that. Now we'll move on to the fan question. So we had posted on Instagram a little while back. We wanted the followers and people who listen and watch the show to post questions on that. And we got a really good list. So we are at that point now where the question comes from, I think is this Jason's question? I forgot to mark that on my notes.
Yeah, Jason Colenso from 3 from Deep.
Yeah, so Jason, thank you for the question. And it is, if you had to remove an AFC West team and switch it with any NFC team, who and why? Deb, being the guest, we will let you start.
All right. I debated on this one. I have to say, I was like, who do I want out of the AFC West, and like who, and with replaced with NFC. I think I want Kansas City out.
There we go.
I mean, because I'm a huge Eagles fan, and obviously we demolished them in the Super Bowl, but also too, and I know the NFL obviously is not set up this way, but like Kansas City's not even West, not even close. So I mean, and the Broncos are debatable too. But so that's kind of where I think I would want like the Rams in there. I would love to see the Rams and the Chargers in the same division. I'm actually covering both of them this season, so I'll be at all the practices. So I don't know. I would like to see them in the same division, or like San Francisco, like something that's more West. I don't know. That's and again, I know that's not the way the NFL works, but
yeah,
that's why I just want. Yeah, Kansas City, let be gone.
You want to rebuttal that or no?
There's nothing to really rebuttal. We did get demolished. Like everyone saw it. I can't lie about it. Like it's out there for the world to see. It was nice payback, but yeah, no, there's no argument to be had, right? Absolutely got spanked, and that's really the end of it. But I guess that if you put the Chiefs in the NFC, though, you have to admit, like, it would always be them and the Eagles. So,
That's
Eagles
true.
would finally have a competition, right?
Well, I think the Eagles are going to have some competition with Detroit this year too. And I think the Chargers are going to step up as well. So yeah, like, well, I guess Chargers are AFC, but yeah.
Cody, where are you going?
Man, this is a tough one because some part of me wanted to, and I'm trying to think too, because if we take one of our teams out of the division, we're taking away that rivalry in a sense. And I love knowing that we're going to play twice a year. But if there was a team that I would say that I would want to substitute, I think today I would also say the Chiefs. And it's not because I don't like the Chiefs in that way, but it's because I'd want to put the 49ers in place because I want to play the 49ers twice a year. Because at least here, because I'm in California, and Matt, you can probably sign off on this. In a lot of parts of California, you're either a Raiders fan or a 49ers fan. Like those are the predominant ones. And I almost despise 49er fans more than even some of the other fans within the AFC West, just because like there's this internal like in-city rivalry that there is. And even though the Raiders now in Las Vegas, so really doesn't matter. But because when we were in Oakland or Los Angeles, there was that California rivalry that we don't really get unless it's a preseason game or whenever the NFL schedules the NFC West and AFC West to go against one another. I would love to have an opportunity for the Raiders to play the Niners twice a year. So I'd want the Niners to replace the Chiefs. That would be my answer.
Okay.
We're just dumping on the Chiefs. I love this. This is great.
Timmy, you're up.
Well, so I'm actually going to go kind of piggyback, but it's going to be like the opposite of what Cody just said. I'm actually going to go the Raiders and just, kind of replace them with maybe like the Seahawks. So then Cody still plays the 49ers twice a year, and we don't have to deal with the Raiders in the division anymore and bringing us down. So
whoa, buddy.
The Raiders, take them. To put them in the NFC West and bring the Seattle Seahawks to the AFC West.
Maddie?
All right. So it actually came down to the Raiders and the Chargers. The Chargers, because you have no Super Bowl rings, so you make the rest of the division look bad.
There you go.
And then the Raiders, based off of their fan base, like I can't stand that Raider thing that they got going on. And I would want to replace it with the Niners, but then it's like if I lose the Raiders and then I gain the Niners fan base, I have to hear bang, bang, Niner gang 24/7. And I have zero patience for any of that. But if I had to choose, I would probably say goodbye to the Chargers and welcome the Niners and go from there.
There's not another NFC team that you would want, like, I don't know, the Falcons maybe instead?
Hey, I just actually was thinking right here, the Chicago Bears would be a fun team. Like not very far from kind of like where I live, about 6-7 hours away. So like that's definitely worth the drive. And that would just mean that the Chargers are playing in Kansas City and in Chicago. So I could probably attend 2 games a year versus 1.
That would be a tough travel schedule. That'd be terrible.
Yeah.
Right, bro.
Yeah. So mine was pretty easy. I'm replacing the Chargers. Kind of what Matt said. They really just bring nothing to the division and never have. There's not really.
They haven't yet. They will.
I think they will too.
Yeah, I have them finishing last, so I clearly
don't. Yeah. he actually said like they're only going to win like 5 games or something. It was ridiculous.
I wouldn't be surprised, but they don't even have a fan base. When you watch their home games, it's the other team.
Getting better.
and I'm the opposite of what everyone's saying. I actually would put the Eagles in. I want the best. Eagles have clearly been the best for the last few years in the NFC. They're usually regularly like good, right? Like if they have a bad season or two, it doesn't last long. I'm the opposite. I want the competition. I think it'd be fun to play Eagles twice a year just because of the games, right? I'm not getting rid of the Raiders. I think Chiefs-Raiders is one of the best rivalries, not just because I'm a Chiefs fan, but like that was a hated rivalry at one point, and they're still a little bit there. So I'm keeping the Raiders, I'm keeping the Broncos, and honestly, most people probably don't even know Chargers are in the division, so it'd be kind of easy to replace them.
Okay.
So I am opposite of him. I want the Raiders in the division because that's 2 easy wins. But I want the Chiefs out. But I want to replace them with the Cowboys because that's another 2 easy wins. So
I like what you
Bravo.
think.
Yeah.
Bravo.
You're thinking like, why did no one said the Cowboys? Like bring the Cowboys to the AFC West, please.
They're not even like a thought in my head. So except for that they just suck.
Mentality, though.
That's
Like Micah Parsons. That's it. Good.
Yeah, that's true, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I still like the rivalries that the division has, but I also think that with Dallas Dallas isn't a terrible team. They just don't know how to win big games, right?
Jerry Jones likes being in the news rather than being a winner. So
exactly.
You're not wrong.
At the end of the day, I'll put the Chiefs with the Eagles, but I'm taking the Cowboys and bringing them over. So,
man,
the Raiders might actually have a chance a couple games a year with the Cowboys. So here we go.
Well, we'll find out. Aren't we playing the NFC East this year in the division?
We
right?
are. We are.
Okay. And that'll be kind of our last segment at the end of the show, talking kind of about the division matchups. So,
could you imagine the Chiefs, Eagles, and Commanders for the next 10 years in the same division now? Like, that would be so fun.
Cowboys winning the Super Bowl.
Someone said winning. I don't know about that. That's a wild one.
Cowboys
That's like saying Aaron Rodgers is going to lead the Steelers to the Super Bowl.
I thought I saw someone say that on X today. Tim, do you know anything about that?
Cowboys winning the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, I don't know who
they say that every year.
Yeah,
Exactly.
They say it every year.
They say that every year.
I got a quick round one. So I know that we did like what team, but is there a division that you would want your team to be absorbed? Like division that you want your team to be absorbed to? Like just a quick lightning round one. It doesn't have to be too in depth, but instead of casting a team, which division do you want your team to be a part of?
Yeah, I think this should be universal. I'm going to say NFC South.
And that's an easy win. Okay.
See, and I'm the opposite. I like the competition. Either give me the NFC North, and then most of the time NFC West has 2 or 3 competitive teams. So give me one of those.
All right, Deb.
I mean, I like NFC East for the Eagles. I just couldn't even imagine it anywhere else. Maybe AFC North, but
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cody.
I mean, probably I want to either be actually, I'm going to make a decision. I want to be in the NFC North. I think that'd be a fun division to be a part of.
Tim.
Let's just go with the AFC East. I mean, you only really got the Bills to worry about, and I think the Chargers could easily beat the Bills twice a year. So put it in the AFC East.
You should have said AFC South then. You would have been guaranteed divisional winner.
Well, that is true. That is true.
Matt, where are you going?
I'm going to take it back, AFC South.
Okay, there we go.
I'm going to go for NFC East just because my sole existence is to piss off the Cowboys fans, and Denver's already got 7 straight wins over them, so nothing makes me happier than taunting a Cowboy fan.
So I've already thrown something at the Cowboys. You've already thrown something at the Cowboys. Give me the Cowboys by 10 when we play them this season, apparently. So, all right, that was a good little lightning round right there. Thanks, Cody, for that. So let's kind of move on to our next segment. And this one's we've been talking a lot, and I know it's getting kind of boring with the off season and everything. OTAs are going right now, little mini camps. I know the Chiefs are in mandatory camps right now as well. Denver wrapped up theirs, and I'm not sure about the Raiders and Chargers. I think those should be wrapping up here pretty soon as well. So let's talk about the Eagles. We know you're an Eagles fan, so we wanted to kind of direct this towards kind of what your fandom, because at the end of the day, you're still a fan, right? You get to
correct. Yes.
So, it's important that we cover all that. So let's kind of talk about the Eagles draft and the offseason and where, did they fill holes, which in my opinion, they didn't have many to begin with. So we'll kind of talk about their draft and offseason, and we'll go ahead and let you start that off with kind of your thoughts on those two things.
Yeah, I mean, I was concerned because we didn't have much of a defense left. Still upset about Gardner Johnson leaving. Brandon Graham retiring. So yeah, I mean, I was a little concerned. I'm like, okay, where did our defense go? But I think we made some great choices in the draft. I'm super excited for Campbell, Mukumba, Ty Robinson, Mac McWilliams. I have all these written down. We got Bama and Georgia in there, so I think we'll be good. I'm not worried about our offense at all. We have. We ended the season with the number one defense. I love Vic Fangio. If I ever have a child, I want Vic Fangio to be my child's godfather. That's how much I love that man. He's originally from Philly as well, so he's a Philly guy. I mean, I think we did well in the offseason. I love that we still kept Goddard, and I think Eagles will be good to go for this next season. I think. We'll obviously try for a repeat. It's super hard to do. I'm hoping that, that's the Super Bowl slump thing is not a real thing. But yeah, I'm also a little concerned too. I mean, Keenan Allen, loved him. I actually covered him when he, coached with the Chargers. And then when he came to Philly, I was super excited. I like him with the Saints, but I'm just upset that he left the Eagles. We will see how our new offensive coordinator does. A little worried. But we'll see. So he's been with the team for a while. So
yeah,
kind of Patullo.
Yep. Yeah. Tim, what are your thoughts?
I thought they did a really good job in the draft. They definitely replaced some of the pieces that they were missing. Jahad Campbell falling to number 31. We talked about this, already, but it is just absolutely crazy to me that Jahad Campbell fell to the Eagles at 31. Yeah. And then they went out and got the safety from Texas.
Yep.
And then, they really just kind of like hammered the defense, which has kind of been their motto the last few seasons, right? Pay the superstars, pay Hurts and AJ Brown and Devonta Smith and Saquon Barkley on offense. And we're going to draft on the defense, and we're going to draft, from the SEC, Alabama, Texas, Georgia. So a lot of those, they seem like they have like a game plan of drafting certain players for their defense, and it works really well with Nick Sirianni's defense. I like their draft. They did miss. They lost a few people in the free agency side, but like I said, they did a really good job. In the draft and with some of the trades that they've made recently. So for me, I think the Eagles are still right there. And I don't think that they're going to be taken over by a different team in the NFC East. The Commanders will battle with them, sure, but I don't see them quite overtaking the Eagles this season. And let's see, the Cowboys, not a chance. And Giants, your season's already over because, you're not going to go from worst to first. I'm sorry. So yeah. Giants and Cowboys, you're out, and it's going to be a two-headed race in the NFC East.
Yeah. I do think that they had a really good draft, though, and I'm excited. Yeah. My Giants friends. I like Jackson Dart a lot, and obviously Campbell. So a couple of the picks that really kind of are under the radar, real quick, is the Small Munden, the linebacker from Georgia, Kyle McCord, the quarterback from Syracuse. Yep. I know they got Jalen Hurts, but it's never a bad thing to have a good backup. And Cameron Williams, that tackle from Texas, falling in the 6th round, kind of shocked me a little bit. So those are some under the radar picks that the Eagles were able to grab. So, Austin?
Yeah, I don't have a lot to say about the Eagles. It's a hard topic, but I'll put that aside and recognize greatness. They really do have just like a really complete roster, a nice young roster. And not to toot the Chiefs horn, but they really are kind of following what the Chiefs have done, right? Chiefs pay 1 or 2 defensive players, but they've really revamped their defense year after year in the draft and lived with their quarterback offense and going that route. Eagles just have smashed their drafts on defense, right? I mean, across the board. But yeah, I think they were pretty fortunate that Jihad Campbell just fell. That's obviously a fantastic pick, pairing him with an all-pro linebacker anyway, with Bond. I know it's not an off-season move, but I'm actually excited for the rotational linebacker of Nakobe Dean.
Yeah,
I think that's a name to throw out there. And then another, obviously not this last draft, but Nolan Smith. I wanted the Chiefs to draft him, and you snagged him right in front of the Chiefs. But I think he's going to be even bigger this year.
I wanted James.
So I think they nailed the draft again. See, I love James Pierce too, but they're a complete roster. There's no reason, barring injuries or just getting in their own way, that they're not right there in the championship game for the NFC again. I mean, you still have Saquon. I know it's a passing league and they got the weapons, but as long as you have Saquon, you're going to have a chance basically to continuously win Super Bowls.
Absolutely.
So they did what they needed to do, got young, got quick, filled a couple holes, kept what they needed to. They're in a great spot for a while.
Yeah.
Cody?
The Rams are good.
Go ahead, Austin.
Cody?
Oh, sorry. I thought you guys were going to say a point. I think the Eagles, one of the things that the Eagles do super well, in my opinion, is yes, we can talk about Campbell. We can talk about the safety out of Texas. I really like their 6th round value that they got for their 2 offensive tackles. And there's no team that I trust to really bring up or see if there's a diamond in the rough than the Eagles. They've done that very well. They've had probably the best offensive line for a number of years. And this is even, going back to when they had their first Super Bowl run with Nick Foles, of course, when he filled in for Carson Wentz, and the previous Super Bowl where they lost to the Chiefs, they had a pretty good offensive line. It was just maybe too soon for them. But I think what's dangerous about the Eagles is, Howie Roseman and, Nick Sirianni, say what you want about what he did this past season. And some would say maybe it showed a little immaturity, but he really galvanized the guys when they really needed to rally behind somebody to have a clear vision, and they really executed. I'm really glad that the NFL did not get rid of the tush push. I'm a fan of it. I don't know why people just don't like it. It's not a great play, but it's effective, and it's no different than any other play that's perfected by the team that installs it. But I think one of the things that makes the Eagles interesting is, you mentioned the Kellen Moore not being there anymore. Obviously, he left with the Saints. I'm curious to see how the offense does rebound. I'm also very curious to see how the relationship between A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts, if it improves a little bit, because it looked like there was a little bit of cracks in the foundation, so to speak. So I really hope that as the season goes on, it's really just nothing. It's teammates just really, being competitive. But I mean, I don't say this as hyperbole, but the Eagles are the best team in the NFC, and until otherwise, there's no team that's going to beat them. And I think they have a pretty good shot at repeating, even if the Chiefs do meet them. I still love the front of the Eagles. And the only thing I would say is, can that secondary put it all together? Because even though you have Cooper DeJean, as you said, losing Gardner Johnson, like, that's a huge loss. Can you replace that, and what does that look like? But I think there's no, Nick Fangio, the defensive savant, I think him leading that squad, and you can tell when he took over, they just flipped a switch and looked better. We'll see too if there's a true
number. They were almost the last in the entire NFL.
There was a lot of games where their defense really carried them. Not saying that they, the offense couldn't put it on the scoreboard, but their defense really bailed them out of a lot of situations and really kept the offense from having to throw it too deep or be really, kept him from being very dangerous, I'd say. But the defense themselves, like, really controlled a lot of the games, and we saw it in the Super Bowl where they basically just they allowed like very minimal yards, allowed very minimal air yards, and again, like, that's a lot of credit to Nick Fangio, and to have him have a second year in this team, to see what he does with these rookies and the coaching staff. I'm very curious to see. And the Eagles are a dangerous team. They could be on a dynasty run of their own, and I think we're here to witness it. And I'd love to just note that the Eagles are dominating the Cowboys every year. So, if they can sweep them, that'd be great.
I do want to correct something you said. You said you hope the Eagles figure it out. there's nothing about us that hopes the Eagles do well. If the Eagles came out and went winless, that would be fantastic. No, you need 2 wins because you guys need to beat the Cowboys. There's no room for that. But we don't hope they figure it out. We hope they collapse.
Which it won't happen. And I can't speak for Matt, but I love Vic Fangio as far as if he would have just gotten the offensive coordinator figured out when he was with Denver. He's a good coach. He's done it for decades, not just with Billy, but going all the way back, into his college days when he was with Harbaugh. He gets those guys, and I think it's the bend don't break mentality. And he had young corners that started on a Super Bowl winning team, right? And he did it without blitzing. They did it without blitzing. They just relied on the front. What he was able to do, and Vic's never been the aggressive blitz, do this and this. It's always do your job, be assignment sound, and good things happen. And I think in bringing him back and getting another offseason with him, with those guys, they're just going to come back better. I was kind of on the bandwagon of I wanted Denver to go after Bond a little harder than what they did. So obviously the Eagles getting him back obviously killed my dreams of Denver maybe actually getting a linebacker. So hopefully Dre Greenlaw steps up and stays healthy. But again, at the end of the day, I think we've talked multiple times on our individual show about winning cultures. And I think that's what the Eagles are, they're getting into where, with the Chiefs, it was use the draft, plug those holes, next man up. We don't need to, sign big contract after big contract after big contract. And I think that's what the Eagles are now starting to establish themselves as. Hey, we have our foundational pieces there. Now we can use the draft. Howie Roseman's an aggressive guy. I saw a video the other day of him talking with a trade, and then he was like, oh, the Rams actually did it. And he's like, teams didn't really want to give up their picks to us, or they didn't want our picks. So he's very aggressive in what he does. That's a good sign in the GM. He's not just going to sit back. So if they start getting into training camp and into preseason and they see, hey, we may need something, it wouldn't be surprising to see him go after a name to bring in to help continue to build what they're doing. So that's what I have to say on that. Maddie, finish it up.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, Cory. I think you and I are both very like-minded in where we wanted to go with the offseason. We both wanted to pursue Zach Bond, especially with his relationship that he had with Sean Payton. He even came out and said, I owe a lot to Sean Payton. He took a chance to draft me. He traded up to get me. He took a huge gamble on me. And, I owe a lot to Sean Payton. So I was kind of hoping his relationship with Sean Payton would kind of entice him to want to come to Denver. But, unfortunately, that wasn't the case. But, yeah, same. I love Vic Fangio. I thought he was a good coach. I think he probably should have pursued a different offensive coordinator because the fact that Pat Shurmur had a job as long as he did blows my mind to this day.
Yeah.
But, I like what Vic Fangio does with the defense. I call him the master of disguise because, he doesn't blitz, but he can disguise that defense where I was like, I know he doesn't blitz, but this looks like a blitz. And he can throw off timing just by size and strength and speed alone. And that's what I like about him. And, what he's done with the defense, and drafting, that 4th round pick out of Nebraska, what is it? Ty Robinson, corn-fed Nebraska boys. He wins with size at the line. You have a big guy right there. I mean, he's got a lot of young talent there. He's got some speed. I think one of the best things they did though was re-signing Zach Bond. He was the heart and soul of that linebacker core. I mean, now he's got Jod Campbell, he's going to be a great mentor for him. And I can't think of a better mentor for Campbell than Bond. And then, again, Nick Sirianni is just a mastermind as well. Like, he's so good at plugging in the pieces. He knows what fits in this offense. All right, you're not going to fit in the offense anymore. Again, he's got a lot of young talent as well. He's got 2 of the best receivers in the game, Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. And we all know, both the rookie year, Devontae Smith, Pat Surtain matched up, and Smith got the better of Surtain. So, I mean, again, he's got a lot going for him. He's such a good mastermind, and he's the only one I can think of to run that offense. So, I mean, I'm very impressed with what the Eagles have done since Sirianni and Vic Fangio got together.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh. All right. Does anyone have any other draft or offseason moves for the Eagles that they want to discuss before we move on?
I think we're good.
All right. So the next one is kind of the NFC expectations for the Eagles. Obviously, we know what they've done. We just discussed their offseason and kind of where they stack up. But the Commanders are getting better, right? I know nobody wants to talk about the Giants and whatnot. I think the Giants they're not going to be like way better. Like, I'm not sitting here saying they're going to win 10 or 11 games, but I do think the Giants are going to be, in that 7 to 8 win range if they can get it right. Just based on the young talent that they have, and their roster is truly not that bad. They just can't get the quarterback situation figured out there. So what are kind of the expectations of the Eagles going up against a pretty good NFC class? And Matt, we'll start with you.
I'm sorry. Apologies, guys. You guys kind of cut out a little bit. Can you rephrase it? It was my Wi-Fi is kind of spotty right now. Could you say that question again?
Yeah. So we're just kind of saying the expectations of the Eagles against a pretty good NFC group with teams that are improving. Are there teams that maybe have caught up to the Eagles, or kind of where do they stack up with the other NFC teams?
Gotcha. Thank you. Yeah. So right now, I think their biggest challenge is going to be the Commanders because of the young talent they have. So, I mean, they kind of match pound for pound with the Eagles. And, near the back end of the season, the Commanders secondary really kind of started rising through the ranks. I mean, they were a top 5 secondary at one point. And, again, you never rule out your divisional rivals. You can never do that because you know each other so well. You play each other so well. Jaden Daniels, what he was able to do. I think they split the series, if I'm correct, right? They split the series. I want to say
they got absolutely demolished by the Eagles in the postseason.
Yeah, the postseason was pretty. I remember.
Well, I remember that. Yes, I mean like regular season. I think they split though, if I'm not mistaken. But again, you're going to have these shootouts between the Eagles and the Commanders, and I think the Giants, they're not there yet. But I think they're gonna put up a fight. They're not gonna be like getting dog walked like they have been the last couple of seasons. I like their head coach. I don't think he's a bad head coach. I think he's just had bad talent around him. But he's drafted some good players. So the Giants are rising to the ranks, and the Cowboys again. I think I'm just being biased because I hate the Cowboys. I hope they're miserable for the next 10 years. But I think as far as the Eagles go, I mean, they're going to have their hands full with the young Commanders team for sure.
Deb, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree with Matt. There's a lot of reports out there saying that the Commanders are going to take the NFC East. I don't agree with that necessarily. I think the Eagles are the most balanced team in the division, but I do think the Commanders are going to give them a run for their money. Jaden Daniels, looked like an absolute pro as a rookie last season. And I have to be honest, and I hate saying this because they're in my division, but the Commanders are my number 2. So Eagles are number 1, Commanders are number 2. Eagles fans hate me, but I just love football when it comes down to it. Terry McLaurin, one of my favorite wide receivers. AJ Brown, Terry McLaurin, my top 2 in the entire league. Ladd McConkey's also up there from the Chargers. But yeah, no, it's gonna be tough. I think the Commanders are gonna even step it up even more this season, and give a good run. I also hate the fact that we play them bad. The Eagles play them back to back. I think that sucks. They did that with the Giants too, and the Eagles don't have an easy schedule at all. We start off, Rams are going to give them a run for their money too. Then also that's in the beginning, and then Kansas. It's like Dallas, Kansas City, Rams, and then we play the Commanders towards the end of the season, and then also the Bills. So it's like the beginning of the season's rough, and then the end of the season's rough. As far as the Giants, Matt, you talked about Dable. I'm torn about him, to be honest. Some of the moves I like. I think this will be his last season if the Giants don't have a winning record. I don't think they're going to be as bad as they have been in the past couple of years. I agree with you on that one. It'll be interesting to see Russell Wilson or Jameis Winston who takes the lead there. And yeah, I mean, in Dallas, like I said, what have they done? They've done nothing on the offseason except for extend Micah Parsons, and that's about it. So yeah, that's the whole division.
I hope there are Cowboy fans watching this episode tonight. I truly do. Just
What
based on
happened?
all the fun we're having.
Well, I know of one
With-
that definitely will be. Sorry, Matt. Not you, not OC, but Sorry, Matt, big Cowboy fan there, and there's no love for the Cowboys on this episode.
Yeah. Timmy, you're up. What are your thoughts?
You know, kind of to piggyback what these two have said, and I said it earlier, it's going to be a two-headed race in the NFC East, right? The Cowboys, better luck next year. Giants, they will improve, but better luck next year. And it's really interesting because, the Giants traded up for Jackson Dart, and we have to wonder, like, what happens, when they start struggling? Like, how soon are we going to see Jackson Dart? Is he going to do enough to maybe keep Daboll's job for one more season? And because, like, imagine the Giants just fall flat and all of a sudden, they traded up for Jackson Dart because they believe in him, and now he's got a new head coach going into year 2. That would just not be, the best situation for him. Jaden Daniels is a dog. Okay. He's a dog. And I'm really going to be interested to see how he handles year 2, because, in his rookie season, he actually, watched virtual reality, and he was playing the game in like 2 times the speed and all that. And that's what helped him in real time game moments for the pressure not to seem as great for him. So he's had a whole offseason, after his rookie season. He has this whole offseason with Cliff Kingsbury to dial up some plays. I still think the Eagles have the slight edge, but I think it's going to be a lot closer than a lot of people are anticipating. And Eagle fans, you got to watch out for the Commanders, because they're knocking on your back door, and they want that NFC East title just as bad as you guys, and they want to overtake that division because they have a chip on their shoulder. And I think that going into this season, it'll be Eagles 1, Commanders 2, but it's going to be split by like a game or so. So the Eagles will take the division, but the Commanders will be right there with them.
All right, Cody, you real quick.
So here's the thing. The Commanders, I think there's a couple of question marks I have about them, because obviously they acquired Deebo Samuel. They also acquired Tunsil in the offseason. So they're bolstering up different positions. Jaden Daniels, and I think Pitch Grid Pod made a great point, and Tim, you just nailed it too. What I was going to say is, Jaden Daniels now having film on him, how our defense is now going to scheme for that, because we saw, CJ Stroud in his first year run through the league. It seemed like he had picked it up in his rookie year. And then year 2, we'll just say it was underwhelming compared to like what rookie year was. And so will Jaden Daniels suffer the same thing? I think we'll see. I mean, now that there's film on you, we'll see how everybody schemes. But I think the Commanders are not quite there yet. Like, I think that they're a threat in the East for sure, as any divisional opponent is. But I mean, I would still say, like, I still see the Lions as more of a threat to the Eagles. Cowboys, we're not going to even worry about them, because yes, they did acquire George Pickens, who is a grenade waiting to go off, but it's still the Cowboys. They don't know what success is, unfortunately, and they probably won't in this decade as well. But the Eagles are just well ran from all aspects of, the offense, defense, special teams. And I think the Commanders made a lot of progress with Dan Quinn and obviously with Cliff Kingsbury. I think it's an exciting time. But I also want to point out, too, I'm forgetting, I think it was like week 6 or 7, they had that Hail Mary miracle against the Chicago Bears. We could be talking about a completely different Commanders team if that play actually was executed properly on the Chicago Bears side, where maybe the Commanders don't go on the run that they do and don't even get into the playoffs, or maybe their playoff run isn't as deep. So they did get some luck fall their way. I don't know if that duplicates this season, but if I was to be told, like, who do you trust more in this division to clinch it? Of course, I'm going the Eagles, because they have not only duplicated and replicated what they're doing, but in the 3 seasons that they have ran this thing, they've been in the Super Bowl twice. And the Commanders, I don't know if they know what success looks like. And also, can we even trust Dan Campbell when it matters the most in coaching situations? So that's why, for me, like, the Eagles are the best team in the NFC East, and the Commanders, they're coming, but I just don't think they're ready yet. Maybe in a few more seasons post Cliff Kingsbury, because I don't think he's going to stay after this year. There's no discussion for the Giants. I don't think they're going to get more than like 6 to 7 wins. And I think this is Daboll's last season, like what Deb said. And I think that's just because I think the Giants need a hard reset. Like, you just got Abdul Carter, you just got Jackson Dart, you have Malik Neighbors, you have a bunch of tools. I just think you need a better leader than Daboll. Not that there's anything wrong with him. I think his time in New York is over, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as much as it pains me to say this, I know you guys are saying the Commanders are knocking, but I still think the Eagles easily win this division this year. What you guys said, down the road, the Commanders might come in, right? Like, I still don't think that's yet. Eagles still have too much. I'm going to go probably not where you guys are expecting.
Oh, hold on.
Oh, no.
Yes, right.
No, I expected out of you.
Yeah, no, I actually think their biggest threat in all of the NFC is actually going to be the Vikings.
Really?
Huh.
Yes.
Why?
We ask that all the time, Deb. So
Why?
This isn't every
I just think the
question,
Vikings
Deb.
are
We
going
ask
to
him
go
why.
extremely backwards this season, but that's just my personal. I think losing Sam Darnold was a huge mistake. But go ahead.
I think
No,
JJ.
Deb, real quick before Austin continues, you have to understand, at least once an episode, he says something and we're like,
What?
that exact reaction, like, he said,
No,
what?
I'm excited. I want to hear this.
Yeah.
I want to hear the
All right.
back of this.
So let's not sleep on they have a top 5 defense, and they always have. All right, so they got that under control. They still have one of the best weaponry in the NFL: Jefferson, Addison, Hawkinson, Aaron Jones.
It's true.
I trust O'Connell with quarterbacks. I actually believe in JJ McCarthy. I think he's going to be able to execute and lead better than Sam Darnold did. He's going to be able to do what Sam Darnold did, but he's going to bring the leadership and non-choking that Sam Darnold did. So I believe in defenses. So they have that. They have arguably one of the best. You can't argue with Jefferson. He's probably the best receiver in the league, in my opinion. Addison, probably one of the best number 2 receivers. Hawkinson's a top 2 or 3 tight end when he's healthy. They've shored up the offensive line. I trust O'Connell with quarterbacks, and maybe it's too soon. Maybe we need a year of JJ McCarthy before we get to this point. But I fully believe what the Vikings are doing and what they have. And yeah, it's probably a year too soon, but I'm a believer. So I think the Eagles. Hey, Pitch Grid, what up? I might be a year too soon, honestly, but I think Eagles easily win the East. That it's just theirs, right? What Cody said, they've done it for years. There's no reason to think they won't, barring any kind of catastrophic injury or drama or something, right? Like, if they just play football, they're going to win more games than anyone else. And then I like what the Vikings have. I think they can match up defensively. If JJ McCarthy comes through, that'll be a championship game for sure.
I wouldn't go the Vikings. I was actually going to lean more towards the Rams and what they're.
500%.
I see the Vikings part of it, but I also love Sean McVay with Matt Stafford. I like the addition of Devontae Adams. I like the good young pieces they have on defense. At the end of the day, I still do think the Eagles come out of the NFC. I don't know if Matt Stafford has enough left in the tank quite yet, but we're still in off season, right? So we don't know what's going to happen. But I love Matt Stafford, and I'd really like to see him get one more chance to get one before, let's not beat around the bush. I mean, he's not getting any younger, right? And there's already been the talks of, is this going to be the last season? Is last season going to be the last season? So I like the Rams more than the Vikings right now. But at the end of the day, I'm still going to take the Eagles coming out of the NFC. Does anyone else have anything they would like to add to what he said, or what anyone else has kind of said during this segment?
Yeah, go ahead, Debbie. You take the floor on this one.
I was going to say, to Cory's point, first of all, I've been at both the Rams OTAs that just happened. Hopefully I'll be at training camp too. And they look legit. Let me just tell you, in shorts, they look legit. Stafford his accuracy is amazing. His footwork is amazing. Puka Nacua has never looked better. Super tight with the ball. His running the routes, he looks great. Who else? Tutu is so fast. It's scary. That man is so unbelievably fast. You blink and you miss him. The addition of Devontae Adams, huge. Addition of Poona Ford, huge for the defense. I think Rams are going to be. I'm scared of the Rams. right now. And I wasn't before I stepped on that field for OTAs. I wasn't scared, and now I am. So, and also too, I sat there, watched when Carter made that amazing tackle of Stafford last season in the snowball game. I was literally standing right there. So it's that kind of brought me back to that too. I was like, oh, they almost lost that game. Yeah, I agree with you that the Rams are going to be a force.
So let's spend the last few minutes here. And again, if you just now tuning in, we're kind of going over the Eagles and the NFC. But now let's kind of bring in the AFC West aspect of this, as we are the AFC West war room. And it kind of lines up perfectly to where that's who the divisions play each other this year, the AFC West versus the NFC East. Just to keep us on track and on time, let's spend the next probably 5 to 10 minutes. Just let's talk about the Eagles instead of the whole. We were going to do the whole. Let's just spend time with the Eagles. And how do you think they're going to stack up against the AFC West? And Deb, we'll go ahead and let you finish this off.
Sure. I think let me think. So Chargers, obviously, I like Harbaugh. I like oh my God, why am I blanking on the Herbert? Thank you. Dear Lord. I like that they picked a running, obviously Harbaugh loves his running game. I love that they picked up running back. They also, obviously they needed wide receivers. They got those. I think they're they did pretty well last season. I mean, they choked in the playoffs. And I think like really choked in the playoffs. Like the Vikings choked in the playoffs too. But I think they'll do better this season. I think the Eagles will beat them though. Kansas City, I wanted that to actually be the first game because I wanted a Super Bowl repeat. Kansas City is going to be out for revenge. Absolutely. Yeah. The Eagles just embarrassed the hell out of them, and that's going to be a tight game. It's Kansas City. Never think twice about Patrick Mahomes. So I think that'll be a good game. I mean, I hope the Eagles win that game. We'll see. Raiders, I like what the Raiders are doing. Obviously, Raiders are in rebuild season. Pete Carroll, new head coach. Geno Smith, new quarterback. I'm a Raiders fan, to be honest, too. So
absolutely.
I like that they're trying, and I like when they're trying
so hard.
I know they are. I like when the Raiders win. I know my Eagles fans will be like, what? And the Broncos. I love Bo Nix. I love what he did last season, and I think the Broncos are in it to have a great season as well. So I think the AFC West is going to be a division to I think it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough division. So.
Yeah, I appreciate you being humble, but I think the Eagles go 3-1 against the AFC West. I think you guys beat everyone but the Broncos.
So then let's go ahead, Timmy. Let's just stick with our teams and how we think they're going to do against the Eagles instead of going. So I think it would be easiest just, Timmy, you represent the Chargers. How are the Chargers going to stack up with the Eagles when they meet?
Okay, so I would love nothing more than to sit here and tell you guys that the Chargers are going to beat the Eagles. I don't see that. I think it's going to be a lot closer than a lot of people are expecting it to be. The Eagles are the reigning, defending Super Bowl champions for a reason, okay? Harbaugh has done a good job, and it's year 2, so I'm really excited. Herbert finally has the same coaching staff for more than one season. So I think that's going to benefit him, and the addition of Najee Harris and getting Trey Harris in the draft. I think those are going to be really key, but I think the Eagles defense is going to just do what they do best, right? Do what they did against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl and just really disguise. They're going to get pressure up front, and they're going to have 7-8 guys waiting to pick the ball off. And so Herbert will really need to have like a superstar, elite, perfect game. I don't see that happening. So I'm going to say I'll even do a score. It's going to be 31-27 Eagles.
Oh, wow.
Nice. Cody, I mean, we all think the Raiders are going to lose this, but what do you think?
Jeez, okay. Just
Let's just skip
I mean,
Cody.
it's obvious. It's obvious.
Let's be real here.
Well,
Cody.
listen, I
we
think
know.
if I'm not mistaken, the Eagles and the Raiders will meet up. I want to say it's like week 12 or 13, or it's right around towards the latter part of the season, if I'm not mistaken. I was trying to look up the schedule, and I'm running out of time. But listen, yes, I mean, I'd love to say that my Raiders are going to be a force to be reckoned with. I hope so. We've done a lot of moves. I would love to see that Pete Carroll and the energy that he's brought. I mean, you look all over like the social media and the promotion of the team so far, they look a lot different than when they were ran by Antonio Pierce and Josh McDaniels. But for the sake of the conversation, I think obviously what makes this difficult is the Eagles are the best team in football today. Before they started it down, because they're the defending champions, they've improved and they haven't really lost anything. And all of our teams respectively have lost something, added something, but we really don't know where we stack because none of us finished the season the way we wanted, especially the Chiefs when they were just pounced on by the Eagles. But for my Raiders, I would just like to see, like, how does our offensive line stack up against the front of the Eagles? Also, Geno Smith has seen the Eagles once before when he had a playoff run against them. I think it was 2 seasons ago. And I'm curious to see just what our offense, our run game looks like against the Eagles. If I'm not mistaken, this is going to be in Philadelphia. So it's going to be a tough battle to begin with being on the road. Philly is no joke on the road, especially in the colder months. We're definitely going to see if the Raiders in Las Vegas can put it all together. But I'm already going to agree that the Eagles are probably going to take that win unless there's some injury that we don't foresee that causes the Eagles to have some sort of meltdown, which for all of us, I don't think we see that right now. But I know that my Raiders, they have a lot to improve on. And I'm curious to see how we stack. Like what I said in episode 1, I think when we put all this together, I want to see where we stack against the top teams because we made a lot of moves and there's a lot of excitement. I want to know where we stand with everybody. So I'm very excited about the upcoming battle.
Cody, it would take the Eagles' whole entire offense not making the game for the Raiders to have a chance in this. All right, let's be real. They will win the game if Kyle McCord is the starting quarterback.
Oh no.
The Raiders aren't that bad. It's not like they're playing the Cowboys. Let's relax a little bit. All right.
Maddie, real quick, what are your thoughts?
So honestly, I think the Eagles were the team that I had giving the Broncos their first loss of the season. The Broncos go into Philly 4-0. I don't think Bo Nix is ready for that type of environment yet. Philly is a very hostile environment to play in, especially for a young QB. And again, those prolific receivers, Pat Surtain and Devontae Smith, both of them have come a long way since they've last met up. But now you have A.J. Brown, you have Devontae Smith. I'm not sold on Riley Moss. I hear good things about Jahdae Barron. So really, it's going to depend on that. And then you also have to look at this. The Broncos got a short week going into that game. They have Monday night against the Bengals. And then, that's going to be a tough matchup. And then you go into Philly. So, I mean.
That's tough.
It's
wow.
tough. Yeah. So I don't – if Philly was coming to Denver, I would say maybe a 40% chance. But if it's in Philly, I'm not seeing them win this game.
Yeah, no, I'm on board with that too. As much, and then we talked when we were doing the schedules first episode, and we said that this may be a game the Broncos could steal. If they could steal this one, then our confidence level for the Broncos goes, up a tad bit. But like you said, short week, atmosphere, yes, I want this, but no, I just don't think it's there yet. And maybe they can surprise us, but I just don't see that. So that's going to wrap it up for the segment. Guys, we're going to wrap up the episode tonight early. We have family commitments that we have to do. So, Deb, I'm going to give the floor to you. Tell the listeners and those of tuning in on the socials where they can find you at.
Sure. You can find me. You can look on High School on SI on all the socials, as well as my personal Instagram is at SportReportDeb, as well as at The Blonde Blitz. That's for Instagram and Twitter. And then I have the website, the Blonde Blitz as well. So and then this season, the Blonde Blitz, the podcast, I'm going to start it probably the end of August, and it's going to run on That Sports Podcast Network on YouTube, as well as On Stage Plus and DBTV. So they're both digital TV stations. So we're excited. A lot of interviews, a lot of good stuff. it's a blitz of NFL coming at you.
Yeah, no, I do encourage everybody to go check out the Instagram page. There's so many cool things on there. What you're doing is truly, truly awesome. And again, we're really honored that you were able to join us in a busy time for you as well. So
yeah, I'd love to do it again. This was fun.
Oh,
yeah,
good.
I'll talk football anytime.
Yeah, we'll definitely get you back on here, especially maybe on a matchup with maybe the Chiefs. Who knows?
Sure.
We'll see how that we'll see how that goes. Cody, real quick, your socials.
Yeah, so find us at Drew Code Sports Talk. You can find us on YouTube, on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all linked down below. So when I do the episode link card, everybody, including Deb, everyone's stuff will be linked down below.
Timmy?
Yeah, Tim here from Answer the Call on all the socials. My link tree is on my Instagram page, Answer the Call, all lowercase, no space. I don't know if that matters, but yeah, you can find me on all social medias and on Spotify.
And then Matt.
Yeah, so Orange Crush News 365. I'm on all socials. Again, I'm pretty easy to find. I'm the next slow white Bronco on social media. So again, Linktree on Instagram.
And we're Shovicks Sports. You can find us on all the socials, Instagram, X, TikTok, and YouTube as well. So again, truly honored to have you join us tonight. Thank you all. Cody, safe travels, getting your wife. And we will take the next week off. We're going to take a week off for the War Room, refresh, regroup. We got training camps that are going to be starting soon. So then when we come back on the 9th, we have another guest. Second. Sorry, we're having our fan appreciation night on July 2nd. So it's just going to be us in here chatting with the fans and the followers. So we look forward to seeing you guys in 2 weeks. Thank you for joining the War Room. Have a good night.
Good night, guys.
Good night.